8 pieces of nutrition advice that everyone should know. Every once in a while, I love making kind of roundup videos that talk about the most important nutrition advice that I think is the most important nutrition advice. And I feel like this video today is a little bit different because it's advice that it's probable that you haven't heard before. It's not really technical things like increasing your water intake or increasing your fruit and veggie intake that I've done in the past. It's a little bit different. So I'm hoping that you'll find a few things that resonate with you. And I really think that these are the nutrition tips that everybody should know. So I'm actually gonna start off with the one that I think is the best one and the most important one. Like if you only need to remember one, remember this one. And it is that you are going to be eating over 1,000 meals over the course of a year. So one meal that you think is bad is not going to change your entire way of eating. In fact, multiple meals, like 10, 20, 30 bad meals, they're not going to change your entire year of eating. It's easy to get caught up in the idea that having one bad meal will totally derail all of your progress when it comes to healthy eating. But that could not be further from the truth. You need to realize that you are going to be having so many opportunities to eat healthy, balanced meals that nourish you and that feed like your soul as well. If you have one that isn't ideal, then that's totally okay. You shouldn't take this as an excuse to like throw everything away and be like, okay, I just had this one meal that was like a hamburger and fries, so now I'm just gonna eat hamburgers, pizza, and ice cream for the rest of the week because, you know, everything's ruined. You need to focus on eating a healthy, nourishing, and balanced diet most of the time, and that way you are going to be able to have so many opportunities to eat meals that are less balanced, less nourishing, or less healthy. And that's going to be totally okay because it's not going to matter in the grand scheme of things if you look at the over 1,000 meals that you're going to be having throughout the year. It's very important that you work on bettering your relationship with food and also that you adopt this flexible mindset when it comes to food. Even if you find yourself eating a meal that wasn't planned or that isn't as balanced as you think, that's totally okay. You have another opportunity in like a few hours to have a meal that is a little bit healthier, and that's going to kind of compensate what the previous meal was lacking. Number 2, focus on making small changes to your diet that are actually sustainable instead of wanting to change up the entire way you eat. Usually when people start dieting, they don't want to make small changes because they want to see fast results, but fast results are never going to last and they're not going to be fun to implement. But if you find little changes that you can add little by little until you get super used to them, that they become second nature, then you can keep on adding more and more and more, and they will pile on and really change your entire way of eating. These small changes may include increasing your water intake a little bit, or increasing your fiber intake, increasing your bean intake, little things like that. I have a bunch of videos that can help you find which things you can increase every day. The thing is that these changes will add up over time, and they're actually going to be changes that stick and last because you are going to get used to doing them little by little and not have like this overwhelming thing to do all at once. If you do the overwhelming thing, if you go on like a fad diet, it's not gonna last. You're gonna get sick of it, you're gonna get burnt out. Maybe you'll do well for the first days, weeks, even months, but then after a while, it's all gonna crash and you're gonna be right back to where you started. So just save yourself some time, energy, and just find a few habits that you can start implementing right now and that you can build upon. Number 3, your food needs are unique and you should not be comparing yourself to others. Nutrition is definitely not one size fits all. You're gonna be hearing about so many different diets that this person has tried and it's worked for them, this person has tried and it's like the worst thing they ever did. You're just going to be hearing all of these things, and you need to remember that things will work for different people. What works for one person may not work for you. Of course, there's this consensus that if you eat mainly whole foods and you're eating plenty of fruit and veggies and legumes and you are drinking plenty of water and you are active and sleeping well, that is going to work for most people. But even then, people who are like gluten intolerant, it's not advisable for them to be eating whole grains, for instance. For other people, it's a good idea. So you see where I'm getting at. Nutrition should be a very personalized thing, and you should not be taking like somebody else's diet and applying it to your way of eating directly. It's okay to get inspiration from other people, of course, and to see what they're eating and if that would like work for you, and try different things out for yourself. But in the end, it should be your own way of eating that you get to through trial and error by testing different things and seeing what works for you and what doesn't. This is why I love focusing on like mindful and intuitive eating, so that you're really in tune with what your body is telling you, your own hunger and fullness cues, your own cravings, and what your body is asking, like requesting from you. So make sure that you learn a little bit more about that, and that you learn a little bit more about your own needs and what your body is telling you. And I have a playlist on mindful and intuitive eating if you're interested, right here or in the description. Another aspect to this is that you should not compare your like progress to other people's progress. We all start from a different place, and we're all gonna have different results. Even if two people are doing like the exact same thing, it's not gonna have the same result. So please remember, you are a unique individual. You have your own needs, your own body, your own food preferences, like food intolerances, all of that. So all of this needs to be taken into account, and you should not be comparing yourself to other people. It's also very important to focus on what to add to your diet instead of what to take away. So focus on all the healthy, nourishing foods that you have the opportunity to add, instead of thinking about all the junk food and treats that you need to stop eating. Usually when people go on a diet, the first thing they think about is eliminating all the junk food, all the processed foods. Lots of people even have this thing where they decide to go through all their cupboards and just eat whatever they have so that they don't have to have it lying around anymore. You don't need to do that. It's actually better if you focus on adding things that are beneficial to you, that are nutritious, and that are gonna support your health, and you are gonna let the more like junk treat foods naturally decrease over time, as you are gonna have a little bit less room for them. This is a mindset shift that is very important to have, because you're gonna be in the mindset of abundance, thinking of like all the abundance of healthy, fun, delicious foods that you can incorporate, rather than being in a mindset of like scarcity and restriction, being like, oh, I can't have this in my diet anymore. Remember that food isn't just about nourishment, but also about pleasure and satisfaction and enjoyment and social connection. The ultimate goal for healthy eating is not to find the most perfectly balanced way of eating that hits exactly all your nutrient goals, like macro and micronutrients. Because if that were the case, then we would thrive off of living with an IV that would give us these like perfectly calculated meals, and that's not the case. While nutrition is of course important, and eating like healthy meals, making sure that you're getting in the nutrients that your body requires, yes, that's very important. But so is the rest. The enjoyment factor is super crucial when you are eating. I think that it's as important to make sure that you're eating foods that you enjoy and that satisfy you than to eat foods that are deemed as healthy. If you're not satisfied enough with the foods that you eat, then you will need to find that satisfaction somewhere else, and that can lead to binge eating, or just eating foods that are like really high in like saturated fats or in processed sugars, because that's what you're craving, because you haven't been satisfied from the rest. Using food as a tool to connect socially is also very important, and something that you should not put to the side, because it's definitely a good reason, like if you're at somebody's birthday party or something, or having like brunch with your best friend or something like that, it's very important to have that enjoyment and social factor to it. Again, that's going to help with you feeling satisfied with what you eat and feel fulfilled with your food choices, and then lead you to be able to make overall healthier food decisions. If you're deprived from all of these like fun food choices, then again, you're not going to make the best decisions, because you're going to make your decisions, like your food decisions, from a place of like scarcity, restriction, all of that. Another important tip is that you shouldn't be scared to seek help. It can be very helpful not to be alone in this kind of like healthy eating, healthy nutrition process, and there are different degrees to which you can seek support. The first thing you can do is simply tell a friend or family member that you are going to try to switch up your eating habits a little bit, try to build a healthier relationship with food, try to eat more mindfully, try to get out of the diet culture, any of these things, just to let them know and that they can be here and support you and celebrate milestones with you, celebrate the progress that you've accomplished, or just listen to you if you need them to. And what you can also do is you can find someone who has been interested in following this kind of same journey and have them do that journey along with you so that the both of you can help and support each other. That can be something that can be pretty motivating. If one of you is like starting to get demotivated, the other one can help, and vice versa. And lastly, don't hesitate to reach out to a nutrition professional because we will help guide you through the correct path to do this. That is the one that is right for you, because like I talked about earlier, nutrition is not a one size fits all thing. It's something that should be very personalized. And if you feel that you're overwhelmed with all the information that you're hearing and you're not sure which way to go, you're not sure what is working for you, then again, don't hesitate to actually be helped by a professional who is going to help you support your goals in the right direction. So I personally offer online nutrition coaching, and you can find all of the information for that in the description. Remember that no foods are inherently good or bad. All foods serve a purpose and can be part of a healthy and balanced diet. I give this example a lot, but if you're coming home from a long day at work and you are super stressed and you need something to just comfort you emotionally and make you feel better, a kale salad is not going to be the right choice. Having some ice cream or a brownie will be, and that's totally okay. But if you want something light and fresh to start off your meal to get in a bunch of nutrients, then the kale salad will be the better choice and not the ice cream or brownie. Labeling foods as good or bad is not good for building a healthy relationship with food. You need to realize that every food can have benefits, every food has some type of value, and yes, there's a distinction between foods that are going to be like healthier or more nutritious and foods that are going to feed your soul and satisfy your cravings and just fulfill you and make you enjoy the food. So it's very important that you find this right balance of both and that you do so without judging, without assigning any like moral value to any of the food, and especially no like guilt or shame when you are eating foods that are a little bit less nutritious. Again, it's always the same story. If you do have like bad foods in your mind, then that's gonna trigger this restriction mindset, and then you're more likely to restrict excessively and then to binge once you have the opportunity to eat these foods. And last but not least, please remember that nutrition is a lifelong journey. You don't have to get everything right immediately. It's normal for your nutrition needs and what your body craves to change over time. It takes time to learn what works for your body and what doesn't. So it's normal that you're gonna have to do some type of trial and error, again, because everything is just should be like so personalized when it comes to nutrition. So please don't be afraid of that. There's no like failing when it comes to having this healthy eating journey. It's only learning and only evolving at your own rate with what works for you. And also, don't be scared of your tastes and what works for you and for your body to kind of like change over time. That's something that can totally happen, and it's totally normal. You're not going to be the same person you were like 15 years ago. It's normal for things to be a little bit different. You have to be flexible, you have to be willing to adapt, and this may mean that you can sometimes try like different ways of eating or different approaches to eating and like changing up the way that you view like certain foods, and you're working on like your relationship with food. All of these things that should always be like a work in progress, and you should be always willing to evolve in that aspect. So that's it for this video. Let me know which tip was your favorite, and if you have any more tips that you want to add, don't hesitate to do so. And I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to like it and subscribe, and see you on my next one. Bye.